That's the best one. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the best damn Soulbound show, the actual play where some of your favorite content creators from across the Age of Sigmar community play Soulbound. I am your GM and host, the magical Mr. Mephisto. I'm joined tonight by Vincent Tom from Warhammer Weekly, Strength Hammers, Chuck, and everyone's favorite Heywoah. How's it going tonight, gentlemen?
Good.
Doing well.
Hello, friends.
Yo. All right, so I'm gonna actually kind of dive right in. I hope the mood is set. The party has since sort of
check my lighting. The mood is set.
The glow, the lava glow.
Yeah,
Just see the floating head.
wonderful. Last week the party had a little bit of I'd call it a side quest to essentially get cute squig pets, and I mean that was mostly it. You met some a cool quirky little cast of gits, and also murdered some gits. So you kept the scales balanced there. In the end, you were successful. You got some squig pets, and the only other thing like truly of note is that for a little bit now, Fyrgrim, sort of since leaving Anvilgard, has just kind of been something happened in Anvilgard and just sort of jostled some of his memories loose that had sort of since been blocked from since the soul binding. So you have since sort of broken through the Brudos Hills, and you're basically it's sort of evening. You're getting ready to make camp, and you can see the sprawl of the river waste, these sort of white parched sands with these sort of little twists of like burgundy and black through it from just almost permanent battle that seemed to have gone on here, and the various war machines and settlements and perhaps people that have been pulverized into parts of the sands just over an aeon of conflict, right? You decide to make camp for the evening. You do the standard take shifts type thing, and the night goes seemingly uneventful.
Does it all just blend together to you?
What are you asking?
The landscape?
Yeah. Like,
Yes, but that's by design. It's beautiful.
the Charwin coast is just all charred.
Well, this is the Reaver Waste. You're facing south. You're about to cross essentially a desert.
It's all the same.
I guess that just proves your point. You're not even sure where you are anymore. But yeah, I mean, sure, it fades together a little, but okay. There's lots of boring places in the world.
I mean,
feel
that's
like
all right.
I've been here before, but I don't remember being here.
Well, you probably have been, but you're like a weird. You lost your memory, so I'm sure you'll get it back eventually, and then you'll know what you did.
Do you recognize that dune of sand over there?
What about that rock?
What about
That's
me?
a very distinctive rock.
There's a
remember
farther
me?
dune of sand out there. Is that one
Good
ring a
night.
bell?
Going to bed.
nothing seems to shake loose, Fyrgrim. Good night, I'm going to bed, he says.
I'm sure we'll eventually figure out the rock that he'll remember.
Too much talking and interaction with all of you. I'm going to bed.
Good night, Fyrgrim.
I wonder if he was more talkative in a past life.
Well, head injuries probably have that effect. I've tried to heal him lots of times while he was sleeping, but it doesn't cure his personality.
Oh, that explains many from my tribe.
If head wounds are common in your tribe, then yeah, it can bad attitude.
I suppose it's probably become commonplace that that Myriad just kind of takes permanent watch overnight because he doesn't sleep.
Yeah.
Sure.
So the party kind of nestles into their, whether they have like a bedroll or if you like to sleep with nature and, lean up against a tree trunk, whatever it is, and douse your fire type thing. Well, no, it gets cold in deserts at night, so probably keep the fire a little bit stoked. Just a one little cinder log going. And the night comes. You see the twin moons in the sky, and then we kind of, drift up and we drift back down to seeing a picture of Laanissa sort of staring at the party, all asleep. Her bags packed on her back. She regards the party. She turns to sort of stealthily creep away when she catches Myriad's sort of like glowing green orbs of eyes. He regards you with that sort of blank, robotic curiosity he's sort of become known for, and then just nods.
Laanissa hands him a small sealed scroll as well.
He, as he takes it, he says, "Friends, leave?"
Temporarily.
And like he just looks up at the stars. Laanissa gets several paces outside of camp when an arrow thunks into a trunk right next to her.
I examine it.
This does not look like. This does not match the arrow of the one you found in a previous trunk. It looks very similar to one that maybe you've seen. It's almost ogreish in size.
Oh.
I stop. Laanissa will stop slowly. Begin to try and trace where the arrow came from. With her eyes about moving.
I don't think Bigwinter is exactly trying to be conspicuous in this situation, even though he is like a tiger, pretty stealthy when he needs to be. Just this, he.
It's probably horrifying when you think about it. Icebrow hunters are apparently in solid snake level stealthy, but they're 11 feet tall and covered in animal skins and stuff. I don't know.
Just turned and just oh my god.
Where I'm supposed to be sleeping, it's like a fake sleep roll, and I'm cowered near a tree next to you, just barely. Suddenly, how couldn't I have seen this? It's just
exactly
next to a tree.
You're like, I thought that was a rock. It's not an ogre.
He's got the cloak that Samwise had outside of the fortress, that looks like a rock when you.
Oh no, the mountain snuck up on me.
The mountain who sneaks.
I don't say anything, I just lock eyes with her because this is how they communicate. By shooting.
Laanissa will reach up, pull the arrow out, and creep over to Bigwinter and hand it back to him.
I was expecting you to shoot it back. He doesn't know what to do.
I need to return to Anvilgard for a short while.
Why?
Laanissa kind of nods to Myriad. The letter kind of explains what it is. I didn't want to drag you guys into something that might get you killed.
That's all we ever do.
Well, this time it would be my fault because I've been summoned by my cult, and they don't exactly respect the soul binding.
Oh.
I don't know how dangerous this summoning is or what it's fully about, other than grave importance for the glory of Cain. But yeah, if you came back to help me, I'm pretty sure my sisterhood would probably try to kill you all, and I'd rather not have that if I can prevent it.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to have to kill your friends. That's probably right. By the way, who's Cain?
You know how Skig talks about his Sigmar all the time? That's my Sigmar.
Hmm.
A little bit more aggressive.
Which one's better?
Well, Kane, of course.
Okay.
Laanissa will pull out her final ear of wrapped corn and hand it to Bigwinter. You know what to do with this.
With what? It's already gone from his hand.
Sigh. Pat Bigwinter on the back. I'll meet you all in Edessa.
Okay.
Laanissa will give a heavy sigh, turn one last look at the group, and fade away into the night.
Bigwinter, do you pursue, try to change your mind?
No. Although, side note, that was him trying to change her mind.
I mean, persist.
There was a little bit of that in there.
Yeah.
As far as he's concerned, people do things for their gods that make no sense. And so, like, how do you reason with someone who makes no sense, right? They got to do what they have to do. It seems to work for Skig. He's already imagining what Laanissa will be like when she comes back. Skig can heal everyone after saying some weird stuff about some god he's never met. She'll come back twice as tall. Because to him, you know, the bigger you are, the more important you are, right? So it's
Mightier makes rightier.
That's right. That's right.
And he like goes to sleep how he apparently does every night, off the side of camp, slightly somewhere, while pretending to be sleeping in the bunk with a fake bunk. And he falls asleep like thinking about what Fyrgrim, if Fyrgrim finds his god, like how tall will he be? You know, just all this stuff.
So I'm so happy Bigwinter just loves and supports his friends in his own way.
I mean, you can't argue with results.
I'm sorry. Sorry, what was that?
I can't wait to explain to him sometime how I pound my god into my flesh.
I mean, he'd think that's badass.
Like Laanissa's gonna try and come back with heels just so she's taller at this point. So,
the party awakes. Go ahead.
I just said it worked. Your god is powerful.
Yeah, I mean, side note, worked like a charm actually.
The party wakes the next morning. Skig like just sort of wakes up with Myriad like looming directly over him, holding out this like this parchment, this rolled parchment, like right toward his nose, essentially. And if you cast your eye to that chat, you'll see Laanissa's letter.
Also, Bigwinter is standing there holding out the arrow.
He reads it over.
Do you wish to read it aloud in the Skig voice?
Sure, if you want me to. That's fine.
Yeah.
He doesn't read it out loud, but I will read it out loud.
Is there a place we can click on this?
Yeah, it's in the chat there.
I just my body is ready.
He put it in the other chat. My companions, I have been summoned by the Teyrathian cult to a meeting of the entire sisterhood. Let me see here. I do not depart our soul binding lightly, but the needs of Kane is a higher calling, and I cannot ignore. I am sure Skig can especially understand this sentiment. That seems like an assumption. If I could have brought you along in this unexpected summons, I would, but I fear my sisters would not respect the soul binding. That's probably very true. While I do not believe the departure to be a long one, it will keep me away from our shared journey for quite some time, but I plan to meet back up with you by the time you reach Edessa. I'm not sure how that's going to work, just mathematically, but okay. Kane willing. I have no worry that you will be just fine without my presence, and I will do my best to live up to what you have all taught me in our time together thus far, as I serve my cult in their request. There's stuff for each of us. Bigwinter, may your belly be full and your mushrooms less hallucinogenic. Fyrgrim, I hope to hear your battle shouts even while we are distant. Skig, try to get your paws a little bloody while I am away. It is good for the soul. In Kane's bloody name, Laanissa. There you go. So, clearly she got summoned back for some kind of nonsense.
So, we're going to go after her, right?
No, if she's going back and she has something to do with her cult, then we let her go do it. We have to go trust her to do it.
Yeah, I talked to her last night. She made a lot of sense.
I mean, my answer is, would I like to probably go after her? Yes, because I think she's going to get herself into trouble. But we have something else we're needing to do, and in the end, it's her business. If it's the appropriate thing for her to do with her god, then so be it. Though I worry about what that means. Just because most of the rest of the members of her cult don't seem to have a lick of sense in their head, so that's probably not going to end well, but she does, so hopefully she keeps it about her.
I haven't seen much of a great track record with these things anyone calls cults.
Indeed. It feels like if that's in the name, you should kind of know it's maybe not the best idea. But here we are. So,
I think we should go
no, I think we... Well, I don't know what we're going to do. We're not going to convince her. She's going to go. There's no doubt about that. Her faith is as unshakable as mine. At least as of right now. But if we try to stop her, it's only going to cause an issue. So either we're going to go with her and then get involved in the affairs of her cult, which doesn't seem like a great idea. It's something she personally has to attend to.
Seems like a vision, right? That the hunters of old would go on. Come back bigger.
I think it's a bad idea.
Exactly. I'm not disagreeing with that, but
Yeah,
it's still her decision. So unless we're going to go try to knock over the temple, which, by the way, isn't also going to make any great friends with Laanissa, I suspect. I think we've got to just let her go on this one. If she needs us, we'll help her.
Yeah, if she needs us, she'll send an arrow.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Everybody be watching for arrows in trees.
Always am.
I just, like... I look at the two of them stupefied.
Look, if you had to go on a quest for your god told you to go it alone, you know?
I'm always on a quest for my god.
Oh, how does your god work?
Well, you see these runes?
Mm-hmm.
His god exploded.
Yeah,
Oh, so
and we are recovering the Great Grimnir.
Just Bigwinter right there. I'm sorry. Awesome. Go on. Sorry.
So we harness the power of our god and instill our god into ourselves by pounding these runes into our body.
and when you gather enough pieces, you can put him back together.
I think so.
But until then, you pound them into your body and get big.
Yeah, kind of.
That's sweet.
Great plan,
Like
great
all the
god.
gods of our party.
It is sweet.
My
I like
god.
all the gods of our party. They have different roles to play.
My God crafted me over centuries from the bones of... Our God crafted us from the bones of countless many across centuries and blended our souls together in a container.
That's a unique story.
Yeah, sure.
Like Myriad just staring distantly. We have
that seems reasonably successful.
we have a modicum of self.
Of course you do. I mean, yeah.
What's your god? I'm asking Myriad.
Oh, Nagash.
Big dead guy.
I've never had run-ins with his worshippers. Killed a lot of flesh eater courts, but I don't think they much care for him.
We are
Those
on
ones are
a...
crazy. Do you like flesh eater courts?
I've never had the pleasure, or we've never had the pleasure of meeting them. We maintained the extraction.
Oh, they're delicious.
That's a lot of meat there. Probably
Our-
mostly meat, I would guess.
So
Our-
our god that can build life from death. Sigmar is huge. Holy, that's good.
Lord of the Heavens, founder of civilization, protector of all of the realms. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, all that stuff's great. Fyrgrim god exploded.
Mm-hmm. His god is rocks now.
And, and they gain power from his explosion. Aftershocks. That's sweet. Cain seems to indiscriminately kill things, and Laanissa makes up reasons why she should be civilized in between all that. I respect it. I like all of our gods.
Yeah, I'll admit her god's kind of the weird one out. Like, I get this one's pile of rocks. Like, at least that's a philosophy that, you know, you can get behind. Like, they're trying to all do something. They're thinking they've got a purpose. You know, rebuilding the god, trying to make something again. Good stuff. But I've never much like Lanissa's fine. She's probably the nicest one I've ever met out of that whole lot. But most of them are just a little too obsessed with the whole murder thing for no reason.
Yeah, murder without purpose. I understand killing, right? To hunt and eat and everything, right?
Right, exactly.
Why actively seek to murder all things when, on a long enough timeline, they all die? Myriad says.
I mean, you're not wrong there, Myriad. You've got a good point. I don't know. That's the whole thing. Nothing about that, like, the belief set doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not sure what they're on about. You know, like what's the end goal? What are they aiming at?
Death.
It's just it's not an actionable philosophy. That's what I'm saying.
Fighting.
But anyway,
Fighting is fun sometimes when you fight for your friends, says Myriad.
Oh, hell yeah.
well, of course, but that's different. They're not just about they're not orcs or something. If they were just looking for a punch-up, then I would understand. Anyways, it doesn't matter. We're going to let her go is the point. We're not going to go after her unless we want to get involved in cult politics, which I don't, for sure.
I'm definitely interested in politics, but I took a pass this time.
I just like look sidelong at Bigwinter.
Am I using that word right? Politics?
What do you think it means?
When you have a group of people do whatever you say, someone else has a group of people do whatever they say,
Uh-huh.
and you lie about each other.
Yep, you got the right idea. Nailed it. Anyways, we should get moving. That's still a long way away. I'm not worried about us. I'm not worried about her with her cult. She's not going to be in danger there directly. I am worried about her crossing back over the Reaver Waste alone. That's the only part that worries me. She's kind of, you know...
Exposed?
Yeah. It's hard for her to take care of herself.
Oh, I should have
That's
given
all
her
I'm
a code.
Maybe the rest of... Maybe she can get an escort or something.
Should we escort her back?
We're not that far enough away for it to matter yet.
I consider
It's
this
more
a
where we're
test
going
of her
forward.
god. If her god wants her back, She should make it back. If she doesn't, we'll take it up with her god.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's dead too. So that's fine. Can't be that hard.
What? Are they putting the god back together like Fyrgrim?
I don't think so. I don't think they have the same plan. Like, it's a very confusing religion. It doesn't really hold up to any
I get
scrutiny.
Fyrgrim's one. He's putting that back together, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Putting it back together.
I assume they just all hold it in their bodies, and then eventually they'll just build a big statue or something.
Maybe they're really mad that it happened. That's why they're killing everything.
Could be. We should leave a
The
trail.
more we describe this Kane called, the more strikingly similar it is to all of the villains we're attacking all the time.
Weird.
Yeah, weird, right?
Oh, well. Starts like eating breakfast.
Yeah.
We should mark a trail for her, Bigwinter. You could probably leave like some trail signs that she could follow, so she could follow our path. Because we'll clear anything on the path that we run into. That'll help her be safe.
All right.
The party sets out into the Reaver Waste, this sort of parched land, and as you move through it, you can make out, you can see the remnants of civilization sparsely and sporadically. A knocked-over tower here, just covered up in bits of sand. You can see the recent ravages of battle, just the light hints of it, as like intermixed as like ancient ruins. You travel about 3 days. You find a small oasis. You camp, and remember you have this little covered wagon type thing, to essentially built to traverse the Reaver Waste. So it's got some rugged wheeling and some Azerite light tech going on with it.
Sure.
Or construct, I should say, not tech. It could fetch a fair price actually if you end up selling it.
We could sell it for 1, maybe 2 horses.
Well, you've got 2 horses, so you could have 4 horses. Woo, woo! Just break the economy. So you stumble upon an oasis. Once more, you camp for the evening, and let's see. We're gonna go with Fyrgrim first.
Okay.
Fyrgrim, you have trouble falling asleep this night. You don't know if it's the conflict over Laanissa leaving and not pursuing her. You're increasing sort of this feel that you're kind of scratching at the surface of just this wall in your mind, and it's just kind of been haunting you and driving you a little mad for days. Not mad, I would say, but it's certainly been on your mind. And now with Laanissa, a companion leaving, maybe it strikes a little close to home. It's never been far from Fyrgrim that he has a sense of loss from that previous Soulbind, even if he can't recall. You still, like when you wake up from a dream where something was really, really great, and like you feel sad about it, even though you can't remember the dream. It's a little bit like that.
And I'm sure that
go ahead.
there's anxiety, obviously, from like whether he would articulate it this way or not. There's anxiety from the distance that Laanissa's putting between herself and the party, given the soul binding and the prior severance.
Yeah. It doesn't escape the entire party that you can feel almost a wavering of your bonds with her right now. This imperceptible, you can feel it like shaken. They don't really go into what happens when the binding breaks when you were bound, and you can just feel this light wavering. And Fyrgrim, you eventually, despite the anxiety, fall asleep. Moments later, you kind of like shake yourself loose. Your eyes are on a literal like cobbled stone road leading out into this much wider, much brighter, much cleaner looking sort of desert land with little patches of foliage and wildlife abounds. And you kind of look to your back and you can see these like sort of gold roofed and red bricked buildings behind you, with great lion statues lining the path, and statues of like women draped in these lion robes with like wielding great swords in various poses of reverence and or combat. And then you hear from up ahead, "Hey, Fyrgrim, keep up, you grumpy old dwarf!" You turn, and the warm smile of your friend, Island Blademantle, is upon you. It meets you. Curly chestnut locks frame his kind amber eyes and belie his experience with the great sword poking out from underneath the fur and leather cloak on his back. "Sooner we find this lost prince, sooner we can take the fight to old Three Eyes himself." Flanking him, you see an elf, familiar to you vestiges of a lore master, Radriel Khan, who claims to be from some tower jettisoned into the mortal realms from some long-forgotten world. Sandy blonde hair, kept in a tight bun, emerald eyes, and a circlet on his head. His lips are pursed in a light annoyance at Island's nonchalance in the face of such a great honor to seek out some lost prince. There's also a Stormcast with a familiar single long red braid, a pet falcon, a crossbow on her arm, and a lioness draped in heavy pelts of a Dawson's elite, with dark brown eyes, black braided hair, and a warglaive in hand, currently propping her up as she tries to hide her fondness for Island that you and the entire binding already know about. A few paces further ahead, you can see a towering Kurnothi, bow always at hand, spear sort of being used as a walking stick, named Eldenbrow, staring patiently, waiting for these much shorter-lived creatures to follow. You kind of regain your senses. You feel in control.
Where's the prince supposed to be?
Somewhere in somewhere east. We're thinking. We just went over this, Fyrgrim. You feeling all right? Your friend comes back to you. Island puts his hand on your shoulder.
No. The three-eyed. Who?
The Archeon man. Are you all right?
When are we?
Island looks back to like the rest of the party. By this time, Eldenbrow has kind of come and like reached the group. "We're losing the trail," he says. "Think you drank too much last night, and don't worry, he'll come back to you," Island says, and he wraps his arm around your shoulder.
I'm gonna like take a moment to just take it all in, to like try to absorb the experience and the location. You said that there are buildings with like gold and red.
You recognize it as Adasa.
Okay.
The gold rooftops, the red brick. This is Adasa. This road you're on, this must be the Ashen Road, and you seem to be heading south, like kind of regaining your senses and taking it all in.
And where's this? What do we know about the prince? I must have had too much to drink last night.
Well, Queen Corinne's son has been missing for some time. Weeks. We got word of it, and we happened to be in the area rutting out some chaos cultists, and, here we are.
Did we run him out from Ambelgard?
No, Island says. Perhaps we should double back, he says, looking at the rest of the party. Fyrgrim's not feeling well. I think we need to camp. We should maybe... He looks at the trail, or not the trail, he looks at the Kurnothi.
No, we can keep going. It's okay.
It your mind skips as you sort of like blink, and then you're sort of in the moment on this sort of road that seems well traveled, but there's been some sort of an ambush. Individuals in these just sort of classically, like black leathers and stuff like that. You don't quite make out the faces. You've looked down and you kind of catch the face of just like a human who's been sort of marred with mutation and stuff like that. And you're kind of looking down your hammer. The battle is going on all about you. Fyrgrim, their leader, he says. You got a path to him, right? He shouts back. You look up and you can see a sort of this sort of undulating mass of a wizard, tentacle and blobular and purple and weirdly tall and stretched out, almost like taffy. Like atop a disc, his fist crackling with coalescing purple, almost like a kaleidoscope of energy. And the blast hurtles towards you, and you wake up back in camp in the oasis.
Chaos sorcerer. I've been here before. What happened?
The party sleeps around you. Sitting up on like a little rock, you see like Myriad just kind of staring off.
You remind me of Eldenbrow.
We're sorry. Myriad turns back and looks down at you. He drops down from his perch with like a clumsy grace, is the best I can say, and then like stands back up to his full height.
Get it. I sit down and do some journaling.
Okay. You try feverishly, I'd imagine, to write down everything from the dream before it escapes, in the waking moments. It's about this point in time that you hear this sort of crack off in the distance, and then see this just globe of fiery energy streak across the sky, and sort of land somewhere off behind, lighting up the night with this sort of orange glow, just rippling across the desert. And you see these two armies just sort of on either side of the oasis. The whole party shoots awake with this pop. Just charge each other. On one side, I'll be plain, Chaos Marauders. On the other, sort of a hodgepodge of human forces, elven, everything like that, run at each other. They don't seem to notice the party as they collide and begin doing battle.
How close is this to us?
Oh, all around you. Like, you're in this like sort of oasis type thing. Some like marauders come through the brush and just like run at these at like some humans with it's armies, literal armies.
Okay.
They call it.
I begin attacking chaos people by immediately I would help the humans by trying to heal them. By I would throw up a big bubble of protection around us so that the chaos marauders wouldn't come into it.
Go ahead and roll some quick initiatives then. We're gonna go with like the mixed sort of order forces, chaos forces.
Like, I'm not gonna let chaos fight that and not get involved. Okay.
Oh no. I wrote down notes and they disappeared.
I got the names and descriptions for the most part.
All right, Fyrgrim.
The Stormcast you recognized from your dream. You already have her name. I didn't write it in my description there.
Yeah, that's the one I don't have. Eldenbrow is the Kurnoth. Redran Kal is the Lore Master. Island Blade Mantle is the Great Sword Man. I think you were called Arcoal or Archaeol or something like that.
Oh, he wasn't called anything. No.
No, I was called Fyrgrim. There's a white lion chicken there too, right?
Yep, but you didn't get her name. You like it is like waking. You're like I know her name. I can't remember her name.
Yeah, she's an Odessa warrior.
Yeah.
The Odessa warriors are lion warrior women.
Yeah.
Odessa's like a super cool city. I hope they do something with someday. It's like the
it's met. I read it and I'm like, oh yeah, we're going there. You know, like yeah.
What's your initiative?
Who?
Fyrgrim.
What is your initiative? 8. Okay. Bigwinter.
6.
Myriad.
Myriad's rocking a 9.
Okay. And then I have how am I notating the forces?
Order has a 6. Chaos has a 4.
Okay. Cool.
So you have Zone 1, the Oasis. Zone 2 is like the sort of like imagine Zone 2 to be like it's an immediate circle, but then it's also just a line out from it where like the fronts have clashed, right? And then you have like a Zone 3 and a Zone 4, which is on either side of the engaging flanks.
So we're not like they're not literally directly around us at this moment, like within.
You've got like the
right there.
Yeah, you've got some skirmishing forces brushing through, you know, like the scout forces meeting type thing, like the cav and like the fast moving stuff kind of meeting. The bulk of the forces are like sort of amoebaing around and about to smash, like just smashing into each other, and you know, like it is war were declared.
Yeah, sure. Okay, got it.
And Myriad looks as confused as a skeleton robot can look right now. And as you all sort of go into motion, he says, "We're sorry. We didn't see them."
It's okay. And yeah, I mean, like, so I'm first. I'll explain to Myriad which ones the bad guys are. The ones in red. Like, because I assume there is a distinctive color here, right? Like, are the Marauders are like corn people or something like that? I'm picturing.
It's
Akshi.
I mean, it's actually a bit of a mixed. Corn is the predominant, but it is a mixed force. There's some there's even some daemonettes. There's some bloodletters and stuff like that. This is this is old school first ed AOS. People lining up their mixed chaos versus their mixed order in the time before points. Like,
then I do my best to point out what the bad guys are to him.
Well, I hope the player at least had a theme, color-wise.
Well, the paint schemes match because they're united under one sort of warlord.
I will. Go ahead.
No. I'm gonna wait.
I'll move into the next zone, so into like where the front lines are clashing. I will, so that like making sure that I'm like on the human side of it, as much as there's any kind of battle line. I imagine it's probably a bit of a swirling melee, but I'll be, you know, leaning toward the human side. And I will, I'll take the dodge action, of course, because we're in the middle of a war, so let's not be silly here. I will Light of Sigmar, which will, you know, that's the damage to all the enemies. I don't imagine I can, like, blast a whole army, but I'm sure I can take a good-sized chunk out of the Marauders in the middle to clear space. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying here, right? Like, I'm going to let off the light here. Yeah?
You're gonna do the big soul firebomb?
No, not that big. I'm just going to just straight do it.
Okay.
Like, right? So I'm metal to do that. And then everybody in all the Marauders, all the Chaos people in that zone will take... they'll take 4 damage, ignoring armor. Okay?
Okay. This is like Sigmar's Holy Light, like, type.
Yeah, correct. I'll raise the Holy Symbol high, and then, like, you know, the bright white burning light of Sigmar will expand and encompass all of the good guy city people and the evil guy Marauders. I'm just trying to clear a space, right, and blow them back.
Kernigget, the answer is no. Kernigget in chat asked, "Can you use Soulfire without
can you use
Laanissa?"
Soulfire without Laanissa? Yeah, I mean we don't have our full binding. I wasn't intending to, anyways.
Yeah.
It
would have been a cool way to learn that you can't Soulfire, but you already. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew we couldn't, but I don't know that Skig knows we couldn't, but Vince knew we couldn't.
Right.
So then, like, what happens with the Marauders with that?
All right. So you raise your holy symbol high and cast like Sigmar's light out into the desert, and there's like a little this sort of orb of, like explosion of light, and the Marauders, like they're just gone.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And clearing with that space cleared, I'll then bolster faith in the area. So that's the one that sets up the big bubble, right, around people that first of all, any allies in the area, it removes frightened and charmed conditions and stuff like that. Like they people in the area are fearless. So I'll steal the spines of all the good guy soldiers, and when people come into the zone, they have to make athletics checks against my devotion to actually enter. So it basically, I'm creating a big bulwark where the humans can fight against limited numbers of the Marauders.
Yeah. You'll note very specifically that the Marauders do not enter the bubble whatsoever.
Okay. Well, that's me.
Roll an awareness as you sort of like the fervor and the blur of combat it goes on around you. This will be a DN5, and then note successes.
2 successes.
2 successes. You notice a couple curious things. First of all, you don't see any Marauder remnants or corpses in the desert sand. You even see like little plops of glass where you've reduced where Sigmar's holy fire has essentially reduced the desert to glass sheets. There's no like armaments or anything left along the ground. You also notice within your bubble, all the human forces that were inside of it seem to have not. They seem to have retreated.
Okay. Huh. Okay. Well, I'm standing alone now, but there's a big bubble.
All right. Who's next?
Skig is somewhat confused at the moment. Myriad.
Myriad just rushes forth and he goes to chop down. Something curious happens when he goes to chop down these Marauders. You see the Lumen Scythe, which has a habit of pulling light into it, also seems to pull in this seems to pull in light directly from the things it strikes. He just reaps two Marauders with it, and like you see them get like clean, like sort of cleaved in half, but then like this almost like this effort, this like sort of luminous vapor gets pulled into his scythe, and then like who's next in combat?
Next up is Fyrgrim.
I look around confused.
Fyrgrim, roll an awareness. Your DN will be 4 because you're doing this purposefully.
Yeah, am I still dreaming? 2 successes.
You are not still dreaming. You're fairly certain that you are awake. But you didn't see bodies fall where Myriad struck. Like, there are no bodies there.
This isn't real. That's what I say.
A big winner.
I get up thinking, well, that saves me the embarrassment of not having detected it. And I look around purposefully as well. I guess.
Yeah. Oh, a full-on battle for the Aegis wages around you. Again, the Marauders and the forces of order seem utterly oblivious to you being there. Sort of regarding them.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna try to look. So they seem oblivious to us. Is there anything around here that is actually looking at us?
No. No, I won't even. You don't even need to roll a. What do your ogre eyes see? Like, there's nothing like concentrating on you. You look as you look sort of further and further out, the forces almost seem to fade, like, and become more incorporeal as they get further and further away from this oasis.
All right, I'm gonna. How about these trees and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
There are trees and stuff, right, in this oasis, or was I mishearing?
Yeah, yeah. There's like it's a little, there's some brush and there's some trees and stuff like that. You've got like a brook bubbling out of the ground itself. The oasis is probably about like 2 city blocks in total, and the forces extend well beyond that.
Here's where I roll to see how early in the morning it is.
It's around the equivalent of 3 a.m.
Oh, it's that early. Okay.
Yeah, like the sun hasn't yet, like, you were startled awake by this.
I'm gonna like play.
What do you mean by play?
Like walk through the battle.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, arms out and stuff and see what happens.
Okay. You strike some of the forces, like you see them all break down into the like little mini skirmishes where like it's a couple like mixed arms and they're fighting back and forth, and a guy comes up and stabs one in the ribs. He goes, he drops to his knees, and you just kind of like walk through. When you touch one of them, it's not that you feel something physically, but you feel something. This shock kind of runs through your system, and you're at once cold and sort of just jolted, and you pass through them, like, and it hurts a great deal, and I'm not going to have you roll on this one because this was more of an exploratory thing, but you just like, and you recoil your hand before you feel some real harm be done.
Oh, the real harm is already done.
Yeah.
Can't even eat them. Is this a regular occurrence in this oasis?
I mean, you've heard rumors about constant battle in between forces and marauders fighting marauders and all kinds of stuff, and this place is super deadly and people rarely ever make it out. I mean, you've heard the standard rumors, the standard mortal realm fare.
How far edgeward are we necessarily? Like...
You're like three or so days into the desert at this point. At a good pace with a pair of like really good and super expensive horses and a decent carriage.
You're right, Fyrgrim. It's not even real. Also, don't touch it.
Combat drops at this point. The battle rages on. You're just sort of taken in, and you almost the scene almost swirls around you and spirals around you as you see the bloodshed and hear the screams of agony of combat and hear the clashing of steel and gnashing of teeth.
Do I notice? Do I like look around? Do I recognize any faces?
No. In fact, you're probably the only one who would pick up on this. The uniforms of the mixed order forces are way dated. You're talking like museums and statues from thousands of years ago depict clothing like this.
Could I make a lore check to try to pin something down?
Sure.
Garner
Sure.
more data.
Yeah.
Are there any dwarves in there?
Yeah.
What target number am I looking for?
DN4s in this case.
Okay. 3 successes.
3 successes. Yeah. There's a particular like Dwarden force of like classic long beards and stuff like that. You look at that and you notice the heraldry upon one of their shields. This is heraldry from a house that lost and was supposed to be dead in the Age of Chaos. Like a totally like forgotten and lost house.
Okay. I will highlight that this is very, very old.
Like I don't know, like house like Gorbreck or something like that. You know, just like a completely long, and you just happened to read the one book where you saw this heraldry of like houses that lost in the war, or that lost in the Age of Chaos.
This group was lost in the Age of Chaos. This clan.
Oh. So this is probably just like this happened a long time ago. Then.
Well, the land has memory apparently.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do we need to go sleep somewhere else, or do you think they'll keep this up all night?
I think the Oasis is sleeping.
That I do not know. I do know that I've had some strange dreams here.
I do know I can sleep through anything.
Well, I mean, we could move on, or if we think we can rest here, none of them seem to really be paying attention to us. What do you think?
Dreams. They recalled what you just said.
I seem to be remembering, well, more than I had remembered previously.
That's good. Maybe something about this trip then is familiar to you. Maybe you've like been here before.
Maybe this Oasis causes it. Sleep more, and I'm like looking at you commandingly.
Yeah, maybe if you like just sleep a bunch, you'll remember stuff here. Maybe this is like a memory oasis.
Not sure that such things exist. I go, okay.
And it couldn't have been 10 minutes. And just as quickly as the battle started, it just is not there. It's gone. You'll notice little bits of desert have been kicked up where some of the fighting had occurred. You'll notice some, like a place where like they'd come through, where like a full force had come through the brush, and like a piece of the brush is like in shambles. So there is some damage to the land, but not on the scope that there should be. As if little echoes of this combat did manage to lash out and leave some lasting permanent effect.
They're going to try to go to bed right now. He wants to have a vision.
Yeah, maybe we'll all have visions if we
I'm aware
sleep.
it doesn't work like that, but that's what he thinks.
Well, that's a good idea. Maybe this is like a vision oasis or something.
Maybe.
So you're gonna go back to bed in the Oasis?
Yeah, it's
All right.
3:10 a.m. Bigwinter wants to have a. He's like, oh, I need to become attuned with the land like the ancient hunters, you know.
Right.
All that.
All right. You basically all just like go, oh, okay, that was weird, but mortal realms, and like lay back down, and
Yeah, we're kind of Edgeward. It's the mortal realms, right?
Yeah. So you guys all like sort of go back to sleep, and Null Myriad is like, we didn't see them coming.
Okay,
Huh.
Myriad, they weren't real. You're fine.
Huh.
Yeah, the land was dreaming. They weren't real, and so you didn't see them because they weren't. They didn't exist.
All right. And there it is. My call out. I'm on call right now. Excuse me. We'll take a quick intermission.
You're fine. You're still on. Well, I don't know if you're still up recording. But yes, he has like some pretty jamming on-call music there.
I'm rocking out.
Mm-hmm.
Bigwinter's starting to like become more and more interested in everyone's gods and visions and dreams and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
His life is so simple, really. And
Yeah, I thought about that. Like everybody's so obsessed with like religion or their god or something like that, and Bigwinter's just like, I like eating and hunting. These are simple pursuits. He's a simple man.
I mean,
That's not to say he couldn't.
like only the leaders of Ogre Society are super in tune with any of that. Like Icebrow hunters and Huskards and stuff. Like those people or those ogres tend to, they have prayers and walk the spirit paths and can ambush, teleport, and stuff. Most ogres, life's pretty simple. Brutal, but simple.
Well, if Bigwinter wants to, saddle up with the most BA warrior god of all, don't worry. I can help you out.
Here's the sales pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know you've heard of the Maw, and you've almost certainly heard of Gorka and Morka.
Uh-huh.
But if you want the biggest Chad god ever, let's talk Sigmar.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard the word of Sigmar?
Yes,
Why would you worship the virgin Gorka Morka when you could worship the Chad Sigmar?
Exactly. If you're looking for a god that knows how to slay god beasts, look no further than Sigmar.
That's right. I gotta slay a huge beast. That was one of my midterm goals. Long-term goals is raise a Thunder Tusk to adulthood and
That's
ride
awesome.
into
Yeah, that's the
battle.
pet you need. Yeah, you need a Thunder Tusk. That'd be sweet.
Because like Stonehorns are cool. I play those in the real game, but Bigwinter is a little more of a thinking man ogre.
Sure. Yeah, Thunder Tusk would be an awesome pet for you. I doubt they ever cover this in the books, but how long does it take a Thunder Tusk to actually grow into its big form?
No, they don't. They don't even say.
I figured.
I'm not sure if they even breed Thunder Tusks. I think they find them or they're attracted naturally to it or something. They talk about Mournfang breeding and stuff.
Sure, because that makes sense. That's more like their version of horses, right? So they have to actually actively breed them in the numbers.
Yeah, Mournfang husbandry. It's a sidebar. Like.
How long does it take for an elephant to reach maturity? Yeah. Okay. There we go.
I would guess 2 years. Probably.
This is where someone in the chat,
elephants take a long time to grow physically and emotionally. They reach the majority of their size by age 15, but often continue to grow in size and wait until they're about 20.
All right, I'm super wrong. I guess they have the longest gestation period and stuff too of any mammal.
Yeah.
Everything would be slower. Their metabolism can't exactly be booming, right, to support that size.
Exactly. So they probably grow pretty slow. There's an interesting factoid. I wonder if there's an analogy for Thunder Tusks. The most reliable way to tell the age of an elephant is by looking at its teeth. An elephant's molars, necessary for grinding up plant material, are replaced 6 times during its lifetime. These molars form at the back of the jaw and move slowly forward and upward. Each set is gradually worn down and replaced by the next set. So we have how humans have 2 sets of teeth that come in, elephants have 6. So that's kind of cool. So maybe Thunder Tusks have an analogy, right? Like maybe they have, maybe their tusks have layers to them, right? Like the more they grind them down and then it grows back out, they grind them down and it grows back out. So they get this sort of, you see where it'd push down and then a new one would come out, and it would get this ring effect as they continue to get bigger and bigger over their lifetime.
On the model, the tusks themselves are kind of segmented, like a reed. What's that type of reed in swamp biomes? I can't remember, but maybe you get one of those every year or something, and there's
right.
On it. Or you chop their tusk and count the rings. They have tree rings in them.
Sure. Oh, we lost Tom. Oh, he's role playing.
Yeah, he's RPing.
He's back asleep. He's having his vision quest.
There's a Twitch emote for this exact situation, chat, and it's called Resident Sleeper.
Is it really?
Yeah, it was a famous stream of this guy who was like, I'm going to play Resident Evil and stream it for 48 hours. And he just dead ass fell asleep after 13. And he was just straight asleep for hours in his chair. And people took screenshots of it and made it into an emote. And now it's an emote for the entire Twitch platform.
That's amazing. I know when
Fine.
Bomber Guy did his Donkey Kong stream, he eventually had to go to sleep, and so he just left like a skeleton sitting in his chair and left people talk.
This is from the actual screenshot of the guy that made the emote out.
That's amazing.
And print screen.
I'm just gonna hop in here, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it here since Tom is asleep and I've got a on-call situation water main break.
Yeah, you gotta go.
No, that's fine. If you've got to go, it's all good.
I might not have to go, but this seems like the perfect time to call it. You go back to sleep in the Oasis with a Phantom War that just happened, and we'll pick back up next.
We're making progress. A little any amount of game is better than no game, my friend. That's
Yeah,
what I always
The
say.
game just has to happen. If it happens for an hour, it happened.
That's right.
And the major
first step to not happening. So
right, and the major development here, we have a party member on their own spirit quest. So
and we have
Yeah, we got the real thing we needed to get going, which was Laanissa going off on her own. I imagine next week it is probably a week off for everybody. It certainly is for me.
Thanksgiving,
given that
yeah.
it's
Yep.
Thanksgiving, yeah.
So we'll take off next week. We can come back the following week. I would like to have a solo adventure with Laanissa that is going to essentially recount everything that happened over the course of where it takes you guys. Like, you guys have to get to Adasa, and there's going to be you're traveling a bunch, and we're hand waving a bunch of the travel, but just doing some of the, hey, the mortal realms are weird and big, and so we're doing a couple weird and big things while you travel, but in that time period, the meta plot of Age of Sigmar itself has done stuff, and so I'm gonna do it. I think it'll only take as a solo adventure. It'll only take just one session to really be okay, these things happen while you're away, yada yada yada. That way, when you do get to Adasa, you either have a missive waiting from you from Avender Rail that says she didn't make it, sorry, I tried, or Avender Rail's sitting there with his flying spaceship, and
Yeah, sure.
So
Sure.
So we'll use a little bit of a Deus Ex Machina to meet the party back up, so that we can have a cool character development story for her. But I do want to do that solo, just to do.
Yeah, and Chuck is watching in the chat and said, "Can do. Just let me know when you wish to do it." So
right on. All right.
Anvil Guard.
Yeah, poor Anvil Guard. All right. So thank you all for gaming tonight. Chat gang, thank you for hanging out with us. I'm sorry we had to cut this one short, but duty calls. So good night, everybody.
See ya.